chapter 15, I believe, and text 7. Which chapter? This chapter is the Yoga of the Supreme Person. It's the title of this chapter, and text number 7. This is very, very famous verse. When we start Krishna consciousness, we learn this verse first in back to program. Mama Vamsho Jeboloke. Can you repeat, please? Everybody's got Gita? At least you can repeat.
Mama Vamsho Jivaloke.
Jiva Bhuta Sanatana.
Jiva Bhuta Sanatana.
Manashastani Indriyani.
Manasastani Indriyani.
Prakriti Stani Karshati.
Prakriti Stani Karshati.
Mamam Vamsho Jeboloke.
Mama Vamsho Jivaloke.
Jiva Bhuta Sanatana.
Jiva Bhuta Sanatana.
Manashastani Indriyani. Prakriti Stani Karshati. Mamai Vamsho Jivaloke. Jiva Bhuta Sanatana.
Jiva Bhuta Sanatana.
Manashastani Indriyani. Prakriti Stani Karshati.
Prakriti Stani Karshati. Mamai Vamsho Jivaloke.
Mamai Vamsho Jivaloke.
Jiva Bhuta Sanatana.
Jiva Bhuta Sanatana.
Manasastan Indriyani.
Manashastani Indriyani.
Prakriti Stani Karshati.
Prakriti Stani Karshati. I told you that. Many devotees that know this verse. First. Any other, I can take another person to recite. Any other person willing to sing?
Mamai Vamsho Jivaloke.
Mamai Vamsho Jivaloke.
Jiva Bhuta Sanatana.
Jiva Bhuta Sanatana.
Manashastani Indriyani.
Manishastani Indriyani.
Prakriti Stani Karshati.
Prakriti Stani Karshati. Very good. And probably we go to side of Vaishnavis.
Mamamsho Jivaloke.
Mamam Vamsho Jivaloke.
Jiva Bhuta Sanatana.
Jiva Bhuta Sanatana.
Manasastini Triyani.
Manashastani Indriyani.
Prakriti Stani Karshati.
Prakriti Stani Karshati. Mother? Okay. Nobody else? Okay. Any other Vaishnavi want to try? Okay. Okay. Let's go word for word translation. Mama, my, Eva, certainly, Angsa, fragmental particle, Jivaloke, in the world of conditional life, Jiva Bhutaha, the conditioned living entity, Sanatana, eternal, Manaha, with the mind, Shastani, the six, Indriyani, senses, Prakriti, in material nature, Stani, situated, Kashadi, struggling hard. Thank you. Mamai Vamsho Jivaloke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Manashastani Indriyani Prakriti Stani Karshati. Translation by His Divine Grace. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. Please kindly repeat after me. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditional life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. Brilliant. In this verse, the identity of the living being is clearly given. The living entity is the fragmental part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. eternally. It is not that he assumed individuality in his conditional life, and his liberated state becomes one with the Supreme Lord. He is eternally fragmented. It is clearly said, Sanatan. According to the Vedic version, the Supreme Lord manifests and expands himself in innumerable expansions, of which the primary expansions are called Vishnu Tattva, and the secondary expansions are called the living entities. In other words, the Vishnu Tattva is the personal expansion, and the living entities are the separated expansion. In Sanskrit, we said Supreme Lord Vishnu Tattva and Bibinansha. Ansha and Bibinansha. Ansha means supreme expansion of the Lord directly. His direct expansion himself, no different. Like different incarnations. And then Bibinansha means fragmental or separated entities. That's the living entities. So Bibinansha. By his personal expansion, he is manifested in various forms like Lord Ram, Nrsimha, Vishnumurti, and all the predominating deities in the Vaikuntha planets. The separated expansions, the living entities, are eternally servitors. The personal expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the individual identities of the Godhead are always present. Similarly, the separate expansions of living entities have their identities. As fragmental parts and parcel of the Supreme Lord, the living entities also have fragmental portions of his qualities, of which independence is one. Every living entity, as an individual soul, has his personal individuality and a minute form of independence. By misuse of that independence, one becomes a conditioned soul. And by proper use of independence, he is always liberated. In either case, he is qualitatively eternal, as the Supreme Lord is. In his liberated state, he is freed from this material condition, and he is under the engagement of transcendental service unto the Lord. In his conditioned life, he is dominated by the material modes of nature, and he forgets the transcendental loving service of the Lord. As a result, he has to struggle very hard to maintain his existence in the material world. The living entities, not only human beings and the cats and dogs, but even the greater controllers of the material world, Brahma, Lord Shiva, and even Vishnu, are all parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. They are all eternal, not temporary manifestations. The word kashati, struggling or grappling hard, is very significant. The conditioned soul is bound up and through shackles, iron chains. He's bound up by the false ego, and the mind is the chief agent which is driving him in this material existence. When a mind in the mode of goodness, his activities are good. When a mind is in the mode of passion, his activities are troublesome. And when the mind is in the mode of ignorance, he travels in the lower species of life. It is clear, however, in this verse, that the conditioned soul is covered by material body, with the mind and the senses, and when he is liberated, this material covering perishes, but his spiritual body manifests itself in its individual capacity. The following information is there in Madhyadina Yana Struti. Sarva Esha Brahma Mishta Idam Shariram Martyam Atrija Brahma Bisampadya Brahmand Pasyanti Brahman Shrunoti Brahman Vedam Sarvam Anubhavati. Sorry. It is stated here that when a living entity gives up this material embodiment and enters into the spiritual world, he revives his spiritual body. And in this spiritual body, he can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. He can hear and speak to him face to face. And he can understand the Supreme Personality as he is. From Smriti also, it is understood, Vashanti yatra purushaha sarve vaikunta murjayat. In the spiritual planets, everyone lives in body features like the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As far as bodily construction is concerned, there's no difference between the part and parcel living entities and the expansion of Vishnu Murti. In other words, at liberation, the living entity gets a spiritual body by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The words Mama Vamsha, fragmental parts and parcel of the Supreme Lord, are also very significant. The fragmental portion of the Supreme Lord is not like some material broken part. We have already understood in the second chapter that the spirit cannot be cut into pieces. This fragment is not materially conceived. It is not like matter, which can be cut into pieces and joined together again. That conception is not applicable here because the Sanskrit word Sanatana, eternal, is used, the fragmental portion of the eternal. It is also stated in the beginning of the second chapter that in each and every individual body, the fragmental portion of the Supreme Lord is present. Dehinus minyata dehi. That fragmental portion, when liberated from the bodily entanglement, revives its original spiritual body in the spiritual sky, in the spiritual planet, and enjoy association with the Supreme Lord. It is, however, understood here that the living entity here, so living entity being the fragmental part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, is qualitatively one with the Lord, just as the parts and parcels of gold are also gold. So, Prabhupada is given class in this verse, on this verse himself, explained so nicely, and he's prepared. Before I say something, anybody has a question from what we just heard from Srila Prabhupada's purport? Any points? No, someone did understand? Right? So, you heard Prabhupada's words, and you understand. My humble attempt to speak on this verse is that the very last words, last few words of the purport is very significant. This analogy of parts of gold being as good as gold. So I'm going to speak on the teaching of Lord Chaitanya. So now, this comparison with the gold, how can we compare ourselves with the Supreme Lord? What brings us together? The nature of the gold, right? What's the nature of the soul right now?
Statue, Buddha, right?
Good answer. Any other? Okay. Consciousness. Consciousness. That is what the soul about. The scientists, whatever, they can never manufacture the soul or the consciousness. Therefore, the Lord is known as Krishna Chaitanya. Chaitanya means consciousness. So this International Society for Krishna Consciousness is after the name of Lord Chaitanya. When Prabhupada wanted to give the name of society in the early days, in the beginning, because having, Western disciples, and they were thinking, oh, Prabhupada, we should give God international God consciousness, because everybody then, can relate to that. But Krishna may sound a little bit sectarian because, it's not God, name of God for everyone. But Prabhupada insisted, no, Krishna consciousness, because Prabhupada knew that this is Mahaprabhu's mission. This is the teaching of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. So therefore, he just translated Chaitanya into English consciousness. Therefore, Krishna consciousness means Krishna Chaitanya. So, because as I said, he's the Lord Krishna Chaitanya is the father of this. He's the one who teaching Bhagavad-gita. He's the one who's demonstrating, the cult of bhakti, especially bhakti yoga. So, prima bhakti, of course, Sankirtan was there, bhakti was there in Shastra. But when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, everything became soaked with prem. Everything. Prema Nam Sankirtan, prima bhakti, everything is prem, prefix, prem, soaked with prem. Because who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He's the embodiment of Krishna Prem.
Love.
Yes. All we need is yes. In all world, in all kind of beliefs, people know this. God is love. But I mean, some atheists, they don't believe that. People believe in God, they agree God is love. It was sung by the Beatles, everything. God is love. Yes. So, the equality we have, like, Prabhupada gives this analogy of gold, but we are as good as Krishna. That means we conscious beings. Conscious being. It is said in Veda Shastra, Nityo Nityanam Chaitana Chaitananam Eko Bahunam Jisavadati Kama. There's one supreme conscious who maintains all other individual consciousness. So when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came as Krishna Chaitanya, his given name was, who knows? That's one. That's later. That Nimai was not given name actually. Yes, when the astrology was done, his name is Vishwambhar. Very significant. He said, "This child will be the maintainer of the whole living beings." Vishwambhar. That was given name of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So therefore, is consciousness personified. So he's like a gold mine, and we are like the old verse about Mama Vamshi Jivaloke, Jiva Bhuta, Sanatana. We are parts and parcels. So the parts and parcels of gold mine is as good as gold, because they come from there. Can never be different. As we said, the drop of the water from the ocean is as good as the vast ocean, but a small quantity. But when you analyze some properties of the ocean. So this is our nature. Now, who can give me some analysis of us, of the consciousness? What tells you this thing is conscious?
The body is
able to move, the
Very good.
The body is alive.
Yeah, that's one of good. That's good answer. That's what we call living beings. Another answer?
Breath.
There's a part of it. part of living. Yeah, good. All answers. I'm sure all the answers are good because I know you want.
Response to stimuli.
Pardon?
Response to stimuli.
Responds to stimulus.
Yeah. That's why I say yes. There's a part of it.
Emotion.
Here we are. Like the king. That's emotions. So the symptom of consciousness is actually expressed through the emotions. That's why when we defeat people, ignorant fool who think that the animals have no soul, and we give simple analogy. You eat, the animal eat. You feel pain, the animal feel pain. You feel joy, the animal also they enjoy in their own way, right? So, emotions. Emotion. That is symptom of consciousness. Now, further question. What is the cause of the emotions? Emotion is the symptom of, I'll say, signifies, or the emotion signify consciousness. Well, now, what is the cause, the background of emotions?
Well, senses get in touch with the object of senses, which create some type of.
That's your first answer is include that. Yeah.
Our original constitution as loving as love.
Love. Ken is learning. Love, man. Love, yeah. Love is the background cause of emotions. Like in the spiritual world, everything takes place on a platform. If you read Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami Pada is very nicely explains about this. In the spiritual world, everything is on a platform of Sthayi Bhav, right? That's a permanent platform. All the activities are motivated from that platform. And what's that Sthayi Bhav? Loving platform. Everything is motivated by love. Everything motivated by love. Unconditional. Yeah. So, in the material world, unlike the spiritual world, Sthayi Bhav, what motivates people in the material world? The action is motivated by? Huh? Lust. So, you have a love in the spiritual, love is spiritual, and material is lust. So, this is what we can analyze those are the attributes of the properties of consciousness. We started with consciousness, right? And then emotions, and then love. This is a science. This is Mahaprabhu's Sikya. Because when you speak of the scientists, you tell them those things, they don't know what to say. So that's what we explain it. So this is Mahaprabhu's cult, and it's very scientific when we analyze those things, and nobody can deny them. So now, when the pure consciousness of living entity in the spiritual world, or part and parcel of Krishna, just like a particle of gold, pure. When the living entity, La Prabhupada explains, becomes contaminated, by material environment, material atmosphere. So, in the old creation, there are 8,400,000 species of living beings. Yeah, everybody knows this, yeah? You've read it many places. So, in Mahaprabhu's teaching by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Mahaprabhu's Sikya, Mahaprabhu's university, this has been clearly explained that there are 5 levels of consciousness in this material world. In spiritual world, consciousness is pure. It's pure consciousness. Like Prabhupada said in purport, in spiritual world, the living entity is body, everything, just like Lord Vishnu. Right? He mentioned that. So, we understand that. But in the material world, when the consciousness of living entity becomes materialistic or contaminated, there are 5 levels of consciousness out of 8,400,000 species of living entities. Out of these 84 lakhs or 8,400,000 species, only 400,000 species of human beings, right? You know that, yeah? Only 400,000. The rest, 8 millions, all are low species. Okay. Now, when we go to the 5 levels of consciousness, in terms of consciousness, first level of consciousness called thick covering consciousness. In Sanskrit, we call abruta chaitanya. Means completely covered consciousness. That consciousness is like the consciousness of the trees, mountain also living entities. You know that. Formerly they were flying, and then they chopped up their wings, because whatever they used to land used to cause havoc, crash. So Indra took pity of other living entities, said, "You're gonna fly. You're not gonna fly anymore." So he chopped the wings of the mountains. So therefore, mountains are always there in one place. They don't fly anymore. Otherwise, you'll be seeing mountain flying. So they're also living entities. So this category, this level called abruta chaitanya, completely covered consciousness. They can never raise the level of consciousness. They will remain like that. And a discussion between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Ramananda Roy, when Mahaprabhu was asking many questions to Ramananda Roy, and Ramananda Roy, of course, being a most intimate associate of Lord Chaitanya, Vaishnava, he knows all the tattvas, he knows the truth. He was giving perfect answers. So one of the questions was, what is the fate, of the destiny of the like Mayavadis, who are greatest offenders at the Lotus feet of Krishna, because they think themselves to be God. And you know the answer he gave? He said, they will take both like mountains, rocks, and trees. That means for long period of time, they will remain in those spaces. And it's not a joke to be tree or mountain. It's difficult. So there's no chance for them. Of course, if a Krishna himself, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he delivered the Mayavadis. Otherwise, the deliverance is really not easy. Now, the second level of consciousness is called Sunkcheta Chaitanya, means shrunken consciousness. Means the living entity is there, but it can move. Just like the worms, right? The insects, those very low, flies, their consciousness like that, shrunken, because you can see them move. They can see them react also. Like animal. So they can react. Now they can show the feelings. Right? Because the consciousness is shrunken, not completely covered, but shrunken. Then all the 8 million low species, they all belong in these 2 categories. Either abruta, completely covered consciousness, or shrunken consciousness. Then the last 3 levels of consciousness, as known as Mukulita in Sanskrit. The second is known as Bikacheta. And the last one, the 5th one, is known Purna Bikacheta, Chaitanya. That means all the human beings, those who have assumed human form, they belong to this, either either of these categories. Maybe boarding. Mukulita means like a boat, flower birds, right? If it is a flower, how do you get flower? Beginning from a flower in the garden, bird, yeah? Yeah, get it back. And the bird does remain always bird. Gradually, it blossoms, right? And you look in your garden, oh, now spring is coming soon. People will be watching their rose in the garden, oh, blossoming, oh. The bird is coming, then finally, oh, turn into flower. And then finally, fully blossom. They can have nice smell, coming fragrant, nice fragrance coming from the flower. Oh, I'm gonna give this flower to my best friend. I'm going to party. We use the flower for the devotee. They worship Krishna. Hey, Krishna, it's nice flower. So, everybody's very enjoy seeing nice flower. In this connection, the one devotee in England, my very good friend, is an amazing preacher. He preaches in Wales. Probably you know Tarakanath. Yeah. What did you know? Actually, I live with Mataji. We practice Krishna consciousness together in England. Subhangada. Subhangada ki! And I've known her, honestly, I'm not exaggerating. She was an amazing devotee.
She was.
And no. No, come on. Don't play with my words. At the time, but of course, you're still an amazing, even more amazing now, because she has made a lot of progress, obviously. But since I've known her, she was amazing, preaching, sanskrit, and everything. And England, actually, one of the best places really you can practice Krishna consciousness. So anyway, what is my point actually? So I know my teacher from there. I was talking about
3 higher levels of
Your friend, the
consciousness.
preacher. Your friend, the preacher.
Yeah, correct. Thank you. He's very simple devotee, but has strong faith. And one time, this guy went to join. He was very, very educated, intelligent, and he had those arguments, blah blah. And this simple devotee thought the only simple way. This guy was atheist. He didn't believe in God. And this devotee was so friendly. He said, "Okay, you think? Look at the flower. How beautiful flower is. How the fragrance. You see, this coming from nothing." And this devotee was struck. Just that simple thing. This guy, he became a believer. He joined Krishna consciousness because of that. He said, "Can the scientists explain?" They can. Can they make a flower blossom? Simple. But because it was from his heart, from his devotion, and he convinced the other person, he became devotee. And that devotee working very well. He was accountant for all UK Yatra, everything. So that's what I'm saying about how the flower. I was speaking about the flower. So the human consciousness about the flower, the beginning of the flower, and blossom, and fully blossom. So now, what is in the burning level? People are either they're atheists, they don't believe in God, they have no sense of morality, or even they're not religious at all. They're very impious, not pious at all. Those people may be in that category. And then blossom, people will actually will make some steps forwards, like they start practicing yoga, or they believe in some religion, believe in God. Basically, in general, they believe in God. And those who practice even much better. They're all in that category. But we're not fanatics, we're not nothing. But when we claim that Krishna consciousness is the highest, that because Krishna consciousness speaks about, not only speaks about, but actually Krishna consciousness makes one achieve love of God. Because as you know, there's different believing in God and different also being engaged in loving service. The Lord, like Prabhupada says, in the liberated state, the living entity, he regains his original consciousness. This Krishna consciousness means love of God. And I was saying that in the spiritual world, all the activities spring from Sthai Bhav. Bhav means love. In English, we use only simple word love. But Sanskrit, there are 8 names of love. Rati, Sneha, Mana, Pranaya, Raga, Anuraga, Bhava, Mahabhav. 8 together. So Bhav, we can say, is love, basically. Because what Bhav means? Emotions. So I was saying, what's the cause of emotions? Or the source of emotion? We all agreed it was love. Now, without love of Krishna, we're gonna always be struggling, no matter what we do. And I think Lord Kapila in Bhagavatam, he said, unless one develops love to Vasudev, Krishna, Lord Krishna, nobody can be delivered from this material world. So love all we need. And in the practice devotional service, love is, we call, like the Vedic teaching, it's all about absolute truth, right? So the teaching is, it said, Veda tri tarvakoi. Veda teaches 3 tattvas, 3 truths. First one is Subhangada, to acquire knowledge of our relationship with God. That's the first step. Subhangada Gyan. Subhangada means relationship. Gyan, knowledge. And then the second one, when we have this knowledge, we immediately become motivated in serving Krishna. We establish in that relationship with Krishna, Jivera Swarupa Hoy, Krishna Nityar Das. You understand now? Oh, I'm eternal servant of Krishna. My duty is to render service unto Krishna, loving service. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, how a living entity which is conditioned, maybe in a body consciousness, how can it come to platform of love of God? Mahaprabhu says to Sanatana Goswami, Shastra, Sadhu Shastra Krupaya Jadi Krishna Mukha Hoy, Se Jivan Nistare, Maya Tahar Chadai. That living entity who has God in human form of life, after wandering, revolving in this since time immemorial, in this cycle of birth and death material world, sometimes the body of an animal, of human being, demigods, demons, all we've been through this. But when he becomes fortunate, he comes in contact with Shastra and Sadhu. Who did this? Prabhupada. How do we become Krishna consciousness? Prabhupada's mercy. He came with this. Prabhupada came with nothing. You know the story. He came with a trunk of books. And all of our Prabhupada books. So by this, Sadhu Shastra, Krupaya, the mercy of Sadhu, great devotee. Sadhu means an empowered and great devotee, a pure devotee, Suddha Bhakta. He's a Sadhu. So that's the Prabhupada, and he came with Shastra. And Mahaprabhu's system about that. If a Sadhu is there, Shastra is there, he can make a living conditioned soul become fortunate. So because of this, Prabhupada, Sadhu, and Shastra, we all here, sitting here, we become fortunate. Because now we know about our constitutional position, and we know what to do now. And then further, Mahaprabhu said, Shastra, Guru, Atma Rupe, Apanaki Jana, Krishna Mora Prabhu, Trata, Jiva Hoy Gyan. Then, through that process of Sadhu, Shastra, and the mercy of Super Soul, the living entity who might have been atheist or ignorant, he can come to a conclusion that Krishna is my Prabhu, is my master, really. This is realization. It's not dry philosophy. But the mercy you get that realization. Where are the people they believe in that they don't believe because they don't have a mercy. So when you receive that mercy, you understand Krishna, my Prabhu, my master, my eternal master, and also my deliverer from this material darkness, material world, prison house. Jiva Gyan. He realized this, and then from there he becomes fixed in this practice of devotional service. And if he does it very well in this world, Prabhupada says, devotional service rendered properly here in the material world, although in the material world, as you gave the example like a mango. You have a green mango, and then in spiritual world like ripe mango. The same mango. Jai. So everything we're doing here is don't think it's just imaginary or we're just doing some kind of, No, it's devotional service, because I just quote this evidence for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Unless you receive the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Sadhu Shastra, nobody can believe in Krishna as my master, and that belief is not blind belief. Jiva Goswami said the two types of belief, faiths. Komala Shraddha, the faith that we generally have, because due to our sukriti, piety, we believe. But that is a very soft faith, because sometimes people, today they're Christian, next they become Muslim, this they become atheist like this. But the real faith, Jiva Goswami said, Shastra Shraddha. Once you come in contact with Shastra and the sadhus, you hear probably the science of the soul, then that faith is called Shastra Shraddha. That's real faith that will lead you to Prem. So we know that development of devotional service, Rupa Goswami said, Ado Shraddha, Tata Saru Sangha Bhajan Kriya, Anata Nivriti, gradually to love of God. So there's a chronological order of the spiritual science to achieve perfection. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came to enable all the living entities, be they in the budding consciousness, in plasma consciousness, or in fully blossom consciousness. He's giving this opportunity for everybody to go back home, back to Godhead. So Prabhupada again and again, go back home, back to Godhead. The only way you can do that when you become Krishna conscious. And that's a fully blossom consciousness. When we achieve the love of God. And therefore Mahaprabhu, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, Jiver daya kori, swaparsada swiyadama, swayang avatari, atyanta dulava prema, koribare dana, shikhaya sharanagati, bhakatera prana. Bhaktivinoda could beautifully and describe about Lord Chaitanya. He said, Lord Chaitanya, out of compassion, he's the avatar Sara, the best of all the incarnation of Krishna, the best of all the Vishnus. Out of compassion, he descended here with his abode, associate, and paraphernalia. Why? Atyanta Dulava Prem, to give this real treasure of love of God. Golo Kera Premadana, Harinama Sankirtana, Ratina Jan, Milokeneta. Narottam Das Thakur said, this Golokira Pramadana, this is the only treasure of Vrindavan. And only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought it down here, nobody else. Tadnamo Mahavadhanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishna Chaitanya Namini Gurati Vishema. You know the meaning of this mantra. Rupa Goswami offered this pranam mantra, obeisance to Lord Chaitanya, who gives love of God, which is real, ordinary. Even the most prized living entity in this world, Brahma, he didn't get it. Everybody got it when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started giving. And Uttama Adama Kichuna Bachila Jachi Direke Kola Kai Premananda Himana Goranga Rudaya Doriya Boro Baja Goranga Ka Goranga La Gorangra Namare Jai Jana Goranga Bajaya Seoya Mona Pranare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. It's written there. You want to read it? And toward the last glorification. Before that, the next page. Before no, the one. previous page.
This previous page.
Yeah. Uttama Adama Kichuna Bachelama be there.
This,
Yeah. Read it, yeah.
the Sanskrit or the English?
English translation.
Okay. Oh.
We're sharing.
Never, never discriminating who is a fit candidate, elevated or degraded, the son of Mother Sachi, that's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, magnanimously accepts one and all onto his lap in a loving embrace, crying, "Come to my fold, come to my fold." The poet Premananda Das begs you all to constantly chant the sweet name of Krishna while holding tightly to that son of Mother Sachi, Krishna Chaitanya, in the innermost core of your heart.
Beautiful. So, Mahaprabhu doesn't discriminate. Indiscriminately, Uttama Dhamma, the most elevated, the most fallen, is given this. It's like a rain. The rain falls on everything. On the rock, on the fertile land, on the water. It doesn't discriminate. But of course, when the rain is on the fertile land, then things grow, you know. So, in this Kali Yuga, everybody is receiving this mercy. Some people, maybe just a matter of time, you know, they'll get it. That's why we keep on just preaching. Don't never be disappointed. Never say, oh, I don't think people. Sometimes the devotee find excuses. I can't preach. I can't do this. I've nobody interested, or things going really down. No, just go on, because it's all auspicious. You're not losing anything. You preach. If you're nobody there, preach to the wall. Prabhupada used to say that. If you chant Hare Krishna, no human being, the trees are there. Chant Hare Krishna for them. Everybody gets it. Just a matter of time. So it's all auspicious. So Mahaprabhu is giving this, enabling people, regarding your level of consciousness. For the animals, the next life, when they hear my mantra or they take prasad, next life they become devotee, no doubt. And for human beings, in this very life, you can develop Krishna Prem. If you're not, maybe next life, it does matter. Even few lives, it's okay. Because life is eternal anyway, so you're not losing anything. If you can make it, the one devotee, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu is offering benedictions to all the devotees. Or you will come, this devotee, yeah, amazing. Like they're getting like nice, like awards, Emmy awards or something, you know. Mahaprabhu is giving this award to his devotee for the wonderful service, prediction. And the devotee, they realize actually they sort of who they are. Some of the gopis, this and that. But then one devotee who was very close to him, Mukunda, very famous, and then when the devotee heard, he said, why Mahaprabhu is not uttering his name? What Mahaprabhu is giving back? Because Mahaprabhu said, no, he won't get my mercy. Because he did this, did that. So, he can't get my mercy. He's going to get billion, trillion of years before he gets my mercy. And that devotee was not in the room. And then when he came, and then all the devotees became really depressed. They said, wow. You know, the devotees, they're very kind towards each other, you know. They said, wow, I really used to think he's a great devotee, amazing associate Mahaprabhu. So he's denied, you know. Oh. And then they can't do anything because they can't go to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, argue with them, his Supreme Lord. But they really kept that. But then another devotee told that devotee what Mahaprabhu said about him. And then he came, rushing, running, and some of the devotee. And he said, dancing, jumping in ecstasy. And everybody saw, he's mad now. Mahaprabhu's cursed him. What's wrong with him? He said it was an ecstasy. He said, I thought I would be never delivered. But one day I'll be delivered. Even after 1 trillion years.
That's funny.
Yeah, funny, isn't it? I like that. So,
It's optimistic.
yeah, very. And if you ever go to jaw dropping, it's, oh, really? And Mahaprabhu was pleased. He said, that's the devotee. A devotee never loses his confidence in the mercy of the Lord. Just go on doing it. So Mahaprabhu is so merciful. He's wonderfully merciful, wonderfully magnanimous, and wonderfully munificent. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Das Kavriya Goswami said, Adbhuta Vadanya, Adbhuta Karunya, Adbhuta Udajya. 3 times. Nobody as good as Lord Chaitanya. Avatar Sara, Gora Avatar. Gora Nitai. So, He's the Father of his Krishna consciousness, so merciful, is giving this free gift, which is very rare. Every the moon is the great sages who perform severe austerity. They never got it. At least they got like liberation. But to get Krishna Prem, Braja Prem, this is inconceivable. So Mahaprabhu is wonderfully merciful. So he's giving this plain through the chanting, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram. So that song, the last song, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu said, Achanta Durlabha Prem. He's giving this rare treasure of love of Godhead, ordinarily very difficult. And why he's doing this? Because he wants everybody to surrender to Krishna. And that's our constitutional position. The real chief symptom of devotee, Krishna Kasharana, completely taking shelter of Krishna, regardless what situation is. I have no time now, we're going to close because I will explain all the symptoms of a surrendered soul. Beautifully described by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, teaching Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So at least I'm telling this, he giving love of Godhead. Why? To enable everybody to surrender. Because in general, when people surrender to Krishna, they do either partially, conditionally, or artificially. Yes, three. Either partial, conditional, or artificial. But to do true surrender, it must be done out of love. Jai! Out of love. So Mahaprabhu is prima Purushottama. He's giving this. Giving to everyone. Come on, take it. So don't be desperate. Don't be desperate. According to your karma, when you're struggling, don't. Because that's your dharma. Why are you going to give it up? Your dharma is eternal. You're eternal. Even you may think you might be abominable in this lifetime, but you think if you carry on doing Krishna bhajan, glorify Krishna, you think Krishna just say, oh, you rascal? He will, because anyway, you have no power to deliver yourself anyway. So you might as well just just go on doing that. That's what Bhagavad said. Whether one is full of material desire or free from material desire or desires liberation, yeah. As akama sarva kama mukcha kama dharavi trivena bhakti yogana jate purusha param. Just chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Try always do with the association of devotees and avoid offenses one after another. Try. Don't give it up. Because that's your life and soul. You're eternal. So example of that devotee, sooner or later you'll be. So we should stop here. I'm going to be over time. Thank you so much for your...
I have a question.
Yes.
So what's the difference between conditional surrender and natural surrender?
Natural surrender should be done out of love. Artificial surrender, he surrendered to Krishna, or just to show people I'm surrendered to Krishna, or when everything, I got my good job, I got my disqualification. Oh, Krishna is so kind to me. I got enough money to do my shopping. Thank you, Krishna. But okay, then you surrender, and yeah, because this is part of the answer. One time we were preaching in London. This gentleman came, very nice. He's got a nice job, well educated. He said, "Really, I want really to approach Krishna, to surrender to Krishna." I said, "Oh, that's good. So you should be coming." I was running programs in the temple, just like I do here. And then told me, just keep coming. He's coming. He said, chanting. I gave him beads. He said, chanting. Yeah, he was excited. He chanting. He said, oh, good. And then after some time, I didn't see him. And then he came back completely depressed. And he said, oh, I've taken shelter of Krishna. Now he's taking everything away. No job and, said, Krishna does like that. It's a favorable pastime to take, just to name Hari. Let's name Hari. Sorry for you. Let me just read this and then complete the answer, right? So the artificial surrender means that you're not really, you don't have a love of Krishna, but you're trying or you're doing it, partial. Or I've got my bank balance, I've got my life insurance. So I pray to Krishna. If it doesn't work, okay, my insurance will help me. Something like this. This is called partial surrender. You're not fully surrendered to Krishna, right? Because you have some other, hope, If it doesn't work, okay. If it doesn't work, Krishna consciousness, I can go back home and do my own thing. So that is artificial surrender. That's the verse said, Yasham agrani harishe ta dhana shane. Lord Krishna says, my first mercy upon to my devotee is to take away all these material opulences. Leave them purple, nothing. Even no friends, nothing. Everybody just, oh, that's a poor guy. What are we going to get if we associate with nothing to get from him? So everybody just deserts you. Krishna does like that.
But they should tell devotees this when you first start, like, hey, get ready.
Yeah,
Krishna's
prepare yourself.
No one warned you, and then you're stuck.
Yeah, but we don't tell that. If you ask a question, then
This is something that should be told front and center. I feel.
Okay,
I believe that it's.
of course,
something
yeah,
that
we
should
do
be
that in different words. Yeah, we said surrender to Krishna without material motivation, right? Without material expectation. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam, Mahaprabhu's teaching. Oh my Lord, I don't want wealth, followers, this and that, beautiful object, enjoyment. I want just not even liberation. I want your causeless devotional service, life after life. Somehow we say, but when you ask a question like this, you get straight answer. So it's okay. Yeah, the answer is okay for you.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
Can I comment?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Oh, two comments. One is and a symptom of the partial or artificial, or what was it? Partial surrender, artificial surrender. What was the other?
Conditional.
Oh, conditional. Yeah, is that it doesn't last.
Correct.
So that's the answer. So if you want to recognize.
Oh, that's
surrendering to Krishna. Someone who's serious about something. If they're serious about it, then they'll continue, even in the face
that's
of
very beautiful
obstacles.
comment. That's a very beautiful comment. Even myself didn't think of that comment.
And then I have one more comment. But while Krishna's name is Hari, he who takes away, he also it's at his discretion, and he in many cases he provides people all sorts of material opulences, and therefore there's no absolute rule.
Adding something on that.
What's that?
It's not my
Well, the point is
not true.
no, but the point is that so Nruhari is explaining how that it's all about love. So Krishna is your best friend. So Krishna will once you surrender Krishna will do the things that will make you the happiest. And he knows what that is. So for one person, it may mean what's going to make that person the happiness is to take away certain things, because like if it's me, if he gives me too many things, then I may say, okay, I don't need Krishna anymore. And then I become depressed and unhappy. So therefore, for me, Krishna knows. But then someone else, maybe I'm more advanced. And then Krishna says, well, if Krishna gives Atma some good stuff, and then maybe Atma is going to use it to help Prabhupada's mission, then if Atma is responsible, then Krishna say, okay, let Atma have it. And then, but if Atma has it, it won't change his devotional service. So therefore his happiness, Atma's happiness, will be the same whether he receives these opulences or whether he doesn't, if he's actually thinking of Krishna. Because the source of your happiness is Krishna. It's not those things.
I just feel like that's something that devotees should tell people when they first start. Like, hey, this happens. You know what I mean? Buckle down. Get ready for it.
Would you do that? We tell you, worship Krishna without don't ask anything. So like Hindu community, they know that, that the Hindu who really want material opulence, they don't worship Vishnu. They go to demigods because they know Vishnu will give them. Right, you're going to take away everything. Yeah, that's what he does. You become a kinchana. You find no support in this world. Your support only. So, Krishna, Kunti Devi, great devotee, the mother of the Pandavas, he said, Namo akinchana vitaya, that Krishna is only the wealth of those who have nothing in this world. Even sometimes even no friends. Krishna, I'm here. I'm your friend. Don't worry. Nobody likes you. I'm here with you. And so this Hari names. Prabhu comment, right? What I said about the verse, Krishna takes away. You know what he takes away? If you surrender to him, he's still, another meaning of Hari, stealing. Krishna is very great. He's a Chora Graganya, supreme thief. The leader of the thieves. Yeah. Nobody is better in stealing than Krishna. And he steals the heart of the devotees. And when you surrender Krishna, steal your heart, you know what he steals? He steals all your sinful reactions, including death. He steals your sinful reaction, which is wonderful, isn't it? You have no more sinful life. He steals it.
I was just going to ask Prabhu, where are you from?
In terms of what?
Like, where were you born?
I'm African. I was born in Africa, but
Where in Africa?
DRC, Democratic Republic Congo.
The Congo?
Yeah.
Okay, very nice.
Gold, diamond Congo, and then Kali Yuga place, because Parakit Maharaj, when it's gold and diamond, people always fighting. So there were civil wars because so much war. It's all the mobile that comes there. So that's how I was born. But then in a young age, when I moved to Europe long time ago. I'm actually, I live in Britain. That's my home now for many years. I'm British there. And now I'm in America for the last 7 years, serving here. But usually I travel too. So yeah, I should have introduced myself. Sorry, actually.
Well,
yeah.
It's my fault. I didn't.
You did it partially. You did partially. Well, partial.
Yeah.
Okay, it's all right. Any other comments? Or the how you organize program? Yeah, Shasha will take it. Any other more comments? Okay, let's all together raise hands. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, last Kirtan.